Alright, good afternoon, cadets. This is Cadet Chief Master Sergeant Alvin, and I'll be showing you how to iron your BDU blouse. So first of all, you're going to start off on the left side or right side, whichever side you are more comfortable starting out with. And you're going to just flatten it out, make sure that there aren't any creases so that when you iron you're not going to be putting in more creases rather than taking them out. And you're going to get that iron really hot, and you're just going to go ahead and start ironing. Just get those creases out of there first. Okay, so once you've got the creases out of there, you can take out that starch and start spraying it down. What you want to get is you want to get the whole thing covered in starch pretty much. So make sure that you get right up where the buttons are at, right across, on top of the pockets, to keep them pressed down real nice and flat, just on the outside. And then you're going to start ironing again. Just like the BDU pants, you want to kind of press down pretty hard. Make sure that there's none of that white residue from the starch. The way that you know that the starch is completely ironed in is it'll look back to the normal cover. When you spray it down the first time, it'll look really wet, and once you keep on ironing it, that's when it'll start to go back to normal color. So you just keep this up so it's all gone, it's all in there. So once you press it down for the first time, you need to, this is actually looking kind of messy, so I'm going to go back and redo that. However, once you press it down for the first time, then you need to hit the collar. As you can see, mine's pretty flat on there, so I'm just going to use some starch and just iron that out really quick and continue on pressing along the edge of the collar so that it flattens out real nice and you get a real crisp edge to that. Alright, so right now I'm going to starch the collar. Just get out your starch, hit the edge of it, the top of it, and begin ironing again. This will be one of the most notable parts on your inspection score. We can always tell if you ironed your uniform that day by the way your collar is pressed, so make sure that your collar is always looking good. Alright, show you what that looks like. Pretty solid. Got a solid crisp corner right there, and the rest of it's looking good. So I'm done with that side of the collar. Now I just need to move on to the other. Okay, this is one of the easiest parts of ironing the BDU blouse. It's ironing the back side of it. As you can see, there's many creases on here from just general sitting down when you're at meetings, so make sure that you hit this part. However, it's extremely easy because it's so flat It's really takes no work. All you do is you just start ironing it. And once again, we always like to use starch because it makes our uniform crisp. We're just going to spray it down in starch, and we're going to iron that in. Okay. Just like before, we're going to be doing the right side now. The real notable thing on here is if you have the squadron patch on there, make sure you're not hitting the iron right on top of there because, you know, it'll start burning up. And make sure that you're not putting the iron on top of the buttons. The buttons will melt almost instantly if you keep it on there. So when you spray the starch, make sure that you're hitting the pocket right in here, right along the edge here, down here, up in the middle of the button area, but not on top of the buttons. If you spray starch on top of the buttons, just quickly wipe it off before it dries, or else you're going to get that white residue on there. And just a side note, that white residue will count as lint or fuzz for your inspection gigs, so you want to make sure that you are brushing that off. And then you're going to hit the collar after everything is done. Now you've finished all sides of the uniform except for the sleeves and the top of the collar. Top of the collar, you can just pull it over the edge like I have, and you just iron right along the edge here. Make sure that it's crisp.